The Child Who Cried in the Snow. There was once a village nestled at the bottom of a valley. It was a quiet village with quiet people who lived quiet lives. But one day, a traveling merchant came to the village and brought with him a tale that would make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. He told the villagers that he had heard of a ghastly snow woman who lived in the mountains above the village. The snow woman, known as the Yukiana, would steal children and add them to her collection of ice sculptures. The merchant had even seen some of these sculptures, and they were so lifelike that it was hard to believe they were made of ice. Now, despite the merchant's warnings, a young mother named Hannah dared to venture into the mountains to gather some herbs. Her little boy Taro begged her not to go, but she promised to be back in a jiffy and that she'd even bring him a nice tree. Off she went, skipping up the snowy path. But little did she know that the icy mountains held more secrets than she could ever imagine. As she reached the top of the mountain, she saw a beautiful, albeit eerie sight before her. There in the distance was a magnificent palace made entirely out of ice. And as she got closer, she realized that the palace wasn't the only thing made of ice. All around her were perfectly crafted ice sculptures of children playing in the snow. And as she continued to walk, she heard the faint sound of children laughing and playing. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept past her, sending shivers down her spine. And when she turned around, she saw the most beautiful yet terrifying woman she had ever laid eyes upon. The woman was tall and slender, with long, flowing white hair and skin as white as snow. She was wearing a white kimono that flowed behind her like a waterfall, and her eyes were as cold and lifeless as the ice that adorned her magnificent palace. The woman approached Hannah, and Hannah, terrified, could only watch as she drew closer. The woman spoke in a voice that was as cold and emotionless as the winter wind. "Who are you and what brings you to my domain?" Hannah, stuttering, explained that she was just gathering herbs and that she meant no harm. The snow woman listened intently, her icy gaze never leaving Hannah's face. And when Hannah was done, the snow woman finally spoke again. "You may take the herbs you seek, but do not take anything else. And whatever you do, do not look back, do not make a sound, and do not break the ice." With that, the snow woman vanished as quickly as she had appeared. Hannah, shaken to her core, decided to run. She turned and fled, desperate to escape the terrifying snow woman in her frozen domain. As she ran, she could hear the sound of the woman's laughter echoing through the mountain. And then she saw it, a small cottage nestled at the bottom of a hill. Rushing towards it, she burst through the door and collapsed on the floor, sobbing. Peeking through a hole in the wall, she saw the most horrifying sight. The snow woman was standing in the doorway, her icy eyes fixed on her, and in her hand, she was holding something that made Hannah's blood run cold. It was a small, intricately carved box made of ice, and inside of it she could see a tiny figure that looked exactly like Taro. With a scream, Hannah realized that she would never see her son again. And the last thing she heard before the snow woman vanished was the sound of her own scream being replaced by an eerie silence. The end.